Ticking down to nines, Stu and Perry feeling fine. Digging through the plastic bins where the celluloid begins. Is it movie, film, or film? Watch the reels as we unspool them. Dusty covers on the shelf, come find your cinematic set. What's in the Dropbox tonight? Forgotten gold in the dim light. B-movie gems or blockbusters like the cinematic cycle never stops. What's in the Dropbox tonight? VHS truth keeps it tight. Masterpiece or total mess? Dropbox discoveries. Take a guess.
Gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, my name is Big Stu, and I'm here with my good friend Perry.
How's it going, guys?
And this is another episode of Dropbox Discovery. But listen, man, this is still early on in our filming, but I wanted to kind of go over a couple of things with you guys, and Perry and I were discussing what our favorite films were, what our top pick of a film, what our absolute favorite movie is.
Yep.
And what we think of when we hear film, or what we think is our guilty pleasure.
Yeah, this is really cool. And we're going into this blind. I don't know Stu's picks. Stu doesn't know mine.
Nope.
So we're going to talk about this together for the first time right now.
Well, since I brought up the subject, I want you to go ahead and start us off. What do you think is your top film?
Film. Okay. So
real quick, before we get into it, let's remind everybody what a film is.
film is the Academy Awards. They're going to most definitely watch these movies. They're going to be the stuff that you're going to think about the next day that are really going to leave an impact on you.
The award-winning type of movies, the movies that have a little bit of a message involved with them as well, correct?
Yeah, absolute great films, but not something you're going to throw in every day and watch. They might be one-time viewings, but they're going to stick with you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So what do you think is your top film?
So a film that has stuck with me, Boy in the Striped Pajamas. I don't know if you've seen
my
that.
goodness.
It's heart-wrenching, but it will most definitely make you think. Nobody really gets a happy ending in this movie, but it shows you what that time was like for those people, what they had to suffer through, the horrible, dark side of war.
This is a one watcher.
Yes.
Okay.
We watched it with school, but I still remember it to this day of it. Makes you really think and feel.
I remember that with Schindler's List.
Yes.
Schindler's List is one of my one watchers.
Yes.
And that's kind of a subcategory. My pick for my film, whenever I think of a film, the one that always comes up to me is the very first Rocky.
Okay.
Well, Sylvester Stallone, he wrote it. I believe he directed it. Did he not? Did he direct that?
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Or no, he may not have directed it. I can't remember. He's directed so much, but when he writes and he produces, he pretty much directs it as well. But that movie, he wrote it on his own. He produced it on his own. He suffered on his own just to make sure that movie was made. I mean, he was living on people's couches to make that movie.
It was a real passion project.
And the finished project is absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, it has to be top 5 sports movies of all time.
I would wholeheartedly agree. The best boxing movie of all time.
Yeah,
And story in it, the message that it provided was, don't give up, keep moving forward, keep getting up, no matter how hard you get knocked down, keep moving forward. And the idea that, in that movie, he knew going in, he was not going to win the fight.
Yeah,
he just wanted to prove that he could go to the distance and he could still be a contender, basically, in that movie.
Exactly. And that's what, in that movie, a really strong thing is nobody believed in him. They even had his shorts wrong on the banner.
In fact, that was an actual movie mistake.
Really?
So the people that made the posters actually put the wrong color shorts on him on accident. So he wrote that part in the script.
It worked.
It is very funny.
It really adds a detail in there.
Let's move on to the movies.
Okay.
Now, my definition of a favorite movie, and this isn't just your normal everyday movie. This is your favorite movie, your absolute favorite movie. If you're sitting in your couch and you had just finished watching a movie on VHS tape and you start to rewind the movie and your best friend Perry comes in and says, "Hey man, what were you watching?" And you say, yada, yada, yada. And Perry says, "I've never seen that before." Your response immediately is like, "Well, when it's done rewinding, we can go ahead and watch it."
Yeah.
That is your favorite movie. If you can sit there, watch the entire movie, sit for it to rewind, and then watch it again, that's your favorite movie.
Yes.
My absolute favorite movie of all time, and it might be a shocker to you, is Conan the Barbarian. The 1982 Conan the Barbarian with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Absolutely my all-time favorite movie.
Me and Stu hang out quite a bit. Conan gets brought up probably weekly, if not more.
And Predator.
And Predator. We talk about Predator a lot as well.
But I watched that movie in, in the cinema, in the theater when I was 6 years old. We went to see it. We were on vacation, and we had seen 3 movies that year, while we were on vacation. We went and saw Little Orphan Annie, or Annie. We went and saw E.T.,
Great.
and then we saw Conan the Barbarian, and I was absolutely stuck on it. I
Yeah.
couldn't I wanted to watch it all the time. But that is my absolutely favorite movie. I do believe Arnold Schwarzenegger has some really good acting chops in that movie. There's a director's cut where it kind of shows his ability to act. It does bring emotion and drama to that movie.
Yeah. I enjoy it. I enjoy the second one. It's nowhere near as good as the first one at all. It's fun.
Okay.
It's one of those franchises we were talking about earlier.
Yep.
But I agree. It's a great movie. It's one of those ones that I remember younger. It was on cable all the time.
Oh yeah.
It was one of those that was just always there. Now, for me, mine is a movie, and it's kind of a double feature because I watch 2 movies together every time I watch it. And these are movies that I go to every year, and I watch them every year. At some point, I'll randomly watch them. And that's The Faculty with Josh Hartnett and Elijah Wood. I absolutely love that movie. I remember the first summer I watched it, my mom was watching my cousin, and he brought it over, and we had it on VHS, and it was a bootleg copy of it, and we watched that thing till we wore it absolutely out. I had the CD, the soundtrack. This first ever
Right.
soundtrack I had. It was so great. And then this double feature with that is I always watch that movie, and then I always follow it with Disturbing Behavior. The movies have nothing to do with each other at all, but they feel so early 2000s.
It's late 90s
early-
horror,
They
teen horror
just-
movies,
they fit so well.
not quite, Scream or
Yeah,
or
but
I Know What You Did Last Summer,
they were
but
both made by Dimension Films.
yeah,
Yeah.
Dimension was very big on scary teen movies back in
Yes.
the late 90s, early 2000s.
Yes.
I really did like The Faculty as well, but I
Yeah.
like the original.
There's an original of that?
Yeah. The Body Snatchers.
Invasion of the Body
Invasion
Snatchers,
of the
yes.
Body Snatchers.
But to be honest, it's
Invasion of the Body Snatchers, but in high
It's-
school.
Yeah. It's closer though because Invasion of there's pod people kind of. It's more like Puppet Master.
Maybe.
Where you can't tell who it is. There's no leftover. But I mean, it's great. It's Robert Patrick was in this movie. He plays the coach in The Faculty.
Yes.
And all I knew him
And
from
Famke Jensen.
yes, she is great as the little teacher, all timid, and then she turns into the kind of badass.
Yeah.
And it's absolute cinematic gold to me.
And
I
the
watch that
other
movie
the other fun actress in that movie is she played Lilith in Cheers and Frasier. I believe she was the principal in The Faculty.
Oh yes.
Right?
Dark-haired lady.
Yeah, I
yes.
can't remember her
I
name,
can't
but
remember. Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying.
in
about.
post, you'll figure it out.
Yeah. But yeah, I still remember the opening scene. Robert Patrick takes the pencil and stabs it through her hand,
Oh yeah.
and he literally is like, I've always wanted to do that. That scene to me, it's stuck with me my whole life. I love that
Oh, yeah.
movie so.
Very good. Well, let's move on to the next one.
Okay.
Can you go ahead and remind our audience what we consider a film?
All right. A film is a movie that strived to be much better, strived to be that highbrow, strived to be an award winner, but fell very short. It could be a B movie, could be blockbuster, tried to be, that just did not make it.
Yes. And so what do you consider as a film, and do you have a guilty pleasure of a film?
Okay, so let's go with a film that I'm not a fan of, and that is The Spirit. That movie is absolutely it's the only movie I've ever walked out of the theater of. I left that movie 15 minutes early because it was so boring, and the girl I was with at the time couldn't do it. She's like, I can't be in here anymore. This is bad. I was like, all right, we can leave.
That movie is horrible. That
Yeah.
movie is really bad. It tried to ride the wave of Sin City about 3 years after Sin City was popular.
Yeah.
Everybody thought it was going to be cool, but it really did not make it.
Because I remember seeing the trailer for it, and it looked so cool. It looked cinematically amazing, but God, it fell so flat on its face.
It's not a fun movie. It's hard.
And then a guilty pleasure film for me, and this is not a lot of people know about it, but it's a movie called Chopper Chicks in Zombie Town, and it's B gold in my mind. It tried to be serious. It's made by Troma, but it is neither a good zombie movie or a good biker movie, but it is together absolutely horribly amazing.
That's funny. That's funny. I've never heard of that movie. You
Yeah.
know me, I'm not big on B movies. I'm starting to wet my feet and get into that little that water,
Yeah.
so Perry's been introducing me into some pretty decent B movies and some really horrible B movies. Surf Ninjas.
Surf Ninja rules.
So for me, one of the ones that always sticks into my head as being a film, and it was a movie that I was so excited about going to see. At the time, he was a mega action star. Everybody loved him. He couldn't do any wrong. Everybody thought he was a legit badass. It was a Steven Seagal movie, and we all can agree that Steven Seagal does nothing but films now. But at the time, he had a pretty good run. He had Marked for Death, Hard to Kill, Above the Law, Under Siege. And then he came out with this movie in 1994 called On Deadly Ground, where he plays a oil rig explosive expert so that he basically blows up oil rigs so that they stop spouting out oil. Okay. I'm not an oil worker. I don't know if that's a true thing or not. It might be, but he wanted to put in messaging about the environment and all that stuff, which is great, but it just missed the mark because he was like, basically, don't kill the environment, or I'm going to kick your ass. It didn't quite make it. And at one point, he has this big fight scene in a bar, and he's just kicking everybody's butt. And he's getting ready. There's one guy, and you've seen him before. He's in other movies. I can't think of his name right now, but he's in front of him, and the guy's obviously beaten up. And he's like, he stops in the middle of beating him up, and it says, "When's it enough? When's it enough?" And then he's like, "I don't know." And then he punches him in the face and knocks him out. Like, it's a film. It tried to be something more than it was, but it really failed. And I think that was the start of Steven Seagal's downfall with his films, not films. Never did Steven Seagal ever make a movie. Okay. But yeah, that's one that I remember. My guilty pleasure. There's a little movie, and it's a little this might be a little controversial.
Okay.
A little not controversial for me and some of my friends and the people that if you don't understand this, I am a huge G.I. Joe fan. Huge G.I. Joe fan. But there's a movie that came out. I give it a hard time, but it is definitely a film.
Okay.
And it's called G.I. Joe Resolute. About 60 minutes long. It's about 10 episodes that they put on. It's got one of the best fight scenes ever captured on cinema. Ever. And it's animated. It is an animated movie. Okay. But it is a film. It tried to be a little bit more than it was, but it just didn't quite achieve what it was looking for. But I enjoy watching it.
Yeah.
Because it's G.I. Joe. It's very adult. They kind of grew them up. I mean, they literally killed named characters right off the rip. I mean, there's some really cool stuff that happened in it, but way overacted for even a cartoon.
Yeah.
And it just didn't achieve that movie status. It wanted to be a little bit more, but it was a film to me.
Yeah.
Still fun to watch, but it is a film.
So that's going to go into our next category today of
the
movie we're going to watch. That kind of is a good segue.
Well, you told me the movie that we're going to be hats off today.
Yes.
The hats off segment of our show. And I'm like, wow, we're starting off with a film.
We're going to argue about this one. This is a movie that we're probably not going to agree on. It's a B movie classic, cult classic. It's close to my heart. I've seen it multiple times.
I've seen it once, and that's enough.
I've probably seen it 6 times in my life. First time was probably 12 or 13, and I've watched it every few years since.
I think you may have lost a bet and you're being punished to watch it. No, I'm just kidding. It was okay, but it does star an Academy Award winning actress.
Pre-Academy Award winning actress. Well before she won her Academy Award. It was Miss Helen Hunt. But the movie we're talking about is the 1984 sci-fi noir Trancers. And Trancers is B movie gold from the Full Moon. Actually, it was Empire at the time, but then became Full Moon Pictures, and Charles Band, who brought that together. It's in my mind, it's a movie that needs to be seen more. And funny story is, I took a picture out of your playbook, and like I said, I've seen this movie multiple times. I decided to watch it in black and white because it has that noir feel to it.
Well, when you told me that this was the movie that we wanted to review, right? You're like, hey, make sure you rewatch it, and I'm like, okay. I'm not going to rewatch it. I'm going to go from the memory. So I did that.
Yeah.
I did watch it about 2-3 weeks ago. It's been a little bit, but what I can remember about the movie, and I did watch the entire movie.
Yeah.
You know, it is it's a little bit of a ripoff of Blade Runner with a little
The
bit of time travel
it
involved.
has some Blade Runner-esque feel to it with the Trancers and the replicants.
Replicants, yeah.
Mhm.
Not as highbrow as Blade Runner at all.
No. That's not what Full Moon did. They
No.
didn't do they knew what they came to the plate, swinging a certain bat, and that was the Slock bat, you
Well,
know?
I mean, I did watch the movie, and you know, there were some cool things about the about Trancers that I thought was cool.
Mhm.
One is Helen Hunt, and I'm thinking, well, this must have been like her first or second movie that she's ever done. You know how many credits she's had prior to this?
It was a lot, you know?
Over 30 credits to her name before she did this movie in
Yes,
1984.
and that's crazy. So, since we decided to talk about this movie, I revisited the first one, the one we were talking about, but
Okay.
I decided I wanted to revisit the franchise. So, there's actually 6
There's more than one?
Yes, there's actually 6 Trancers movies.
Oh,
And then there's one called Trancers City of Lost Angels, which is 1.5. It was actually filmed before the second one, not released, then released on a anthology series. But what is crazy about this, talking about Miss Helen Hunt, is that she was in the first 4 of these, actually the first 3 and then the 1.5. She is in these movies well after she has become a star. And that's not very common for people to go back to their B roots.
I would have thought she would have run from the hills. When did the second movie come out?
Second movie came out in 1991. She is already in the full Mad About You swing at this point.
Yeah, Mad About You, I think, started in 91. So
Yes.
she's starting in Oh, wow. So
Yes.
she's on TV she's on TV every week.
Yes. And she comes back to film this movie, and looking up, rewatching this, looking into some facts about this, Helen Hunt wasn't even invited to come back for the third movie. She heard about it because she was still friends with people from Full Moon and Tim Thomerson, the star of the movie, and heard that they were filming a third one. They didn't ask her. She called them and asked to be in the third one because she said, or like from what I read and stuff, that she loved everybody. She became friends with these people, and
Well, that's pretty awesome.
that's awesome.
I think that's pretty awesome that she did that and that she, came back to her her roots and did
Mhm.
that, especially knowing that there was a friend connection. That says a lot to me for Helen Hunt. I mean,
Yes.
it's very rare that you see somebody come back to their starting movie, that's just, especially something like that. And then, the production value, very, very low.
Stu, we probably put more money into these videos than they put into that movie. And it still came out, in my mind, pretty well.
Okay, there's that.
So the premise of this movie, it's Tom Thomerson. He plays Jack Death,
Jack Death.
Deth, Death. And he plays this cop from the 23rd century who, in the 23rd century, there's these things called trancers, which are people that have been hypnotized into these zombie-like things by the bad guy in the movie, Whistler. So Jack thinks he's killed Whistler. Comes to find out, Whistler went back in time, didn't get killed, went back in time and tries to kill the ancestors of the leadership board of the city of Los Angeles.
How long after Terminator did this come out?
Actually, Terminator came out October 25th of 84. This movie released in the UK November 7th of the same year. So it's not really a copy. There's no way it came out. They were filming at the same time. This movie actually only took 22 days to film though.
Wow. Well, technically they could have done it, I mean, if the other one came out in October, this came out in November, there's 30 days.
October 25th to the 7th. Yeah, November 7th. It's 2
Oh.
weeks. But so this movie came out. It's it's all about Jack Death having to go back in time. And what's really cool, I thought about this movie, it's a really unique take on time travel. How they go back. They actually get injected with a drug and they have to go back into their closest blood relative of the time that they're going to. So Jack gets sent back into his great 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 grandfather in 1984 to try to save the ancestors of the board. And it's by getting shot into the drug, and then you literally wake up. But what's crazy about that, and I thought about this, never thought about this really before, is kind of the existential horror for the ancestor.
Yeah.
Are they just like, it never says anything except for there's a small line where Helen Hunt says, "Where's Phil?" And that was the name of the ancestor. And he says his brain's on hold. What does that mean? Like,
I know. I mean, and then and they did stuff in that movie.
Yes, and that's what
That's kind of
but what is so funny is so it starts out Helen Hunt is Phil's kind of one night stand whenever Jack
right.
Death goes back. Jack Death goes back, takes over his body the night after it happened. Later on, she finds out she helps him. She does all this stuff. Then they go to kind of hook up. When this happens, he gets pulled back to the future. So
Yeah.
Phil takes his body back over during the action scene, and then Jack comes back right after it's over. So I thought that was quite funny. And at that scene, one of Jack's bosses from the future gets sent back, and he gets sent back into his closest ancestor, who is a 9-year-old girl. And he's this grizzled, cop from the future. McNulty, his boss, comes back and is a 9-year-old girl. I thought was hilarious.
That's funny. That is kind of funny, and it kind of opens up a window like where Jack Death can be his own grandpa.
Kind of, but see, that's what you're in your own grandpa. So I don't really know how that
I don't know.
works.
So you're more of an expert on this.
Yes.
Who are the producers of this movie?
So the producers, is Full Moon
Production
Production.
company, yeah.
Yes. And Charles Band. Charles Band is the king of B slop. He's made some of the most amazing movies that I truly love. I have some of the action figures from like the Puppet Master series, the Blood Doll series. They did another movie that I've told you about that you're going to watch very soon, Doll Man, which is so good.
I saw the preview to that. That looks hilarious.
It's amazing. A weird thing, we've talked about The Rocketeer on this.
Okay.
The team that wrote this movie are the same people that wrote The Rocketeer.
What? Okay.
Yes, I found that out doing research for this, and I thought that was a really cool tidbit of knowledge that those two movies had anything to do with each other.
So you did watch this in black and white.
Yes, this time I did watch it in black and white. So really watching it in black and white gave it that real noir feel because Jack Death, he is the cool guy. He plays that cop, kind of out of one of the Raymond Chandler books, those old, private eye detective books. And he wears a trench coat. He carries a 38 special when he goes back in time. It's that kind of stuff. And then watching it like that really gave it a warmer feel. And some of the lighting choices they did, especially at night when it's in black and white, how they lit the people, it looked so good. I was like, this movie should have been made in black and white.
That's funny. That's
I
funny.
went through the rabbit hole of rewatching these movies. I haven't watched 5 and 6 again yet, but from what I remember, they're real bad. The first 3 are solid movies, in my opinion. They're worth watching. The ones with Helen Hunt. Really, when Helen Hunt left, the series did take a little bit of a nosedive, but the time travel in this movie, I found out Quentin Tarantino said this is his favorite version, or it's the most unique version of time travel that he's ever seen, is Trancers.
It's pretty cool. I mean, it is a good idea, and I wonder how much of Quantum Leap took from this.
Yeah.
Because that came out just a few years after this. I think 86 or 87 is when
Okay,
Quantum
yeah.
Leap started coming out, right?
Yeah. The tech in the movie, he doesn't have a lot of like fancy gadgets, but he has the coolest thing, I think, is the second watch. It's a watch. You can use it one time. You tap the button. It freezes time. What would be 1 second to the world is 10 seconds to you. And he uses it a couple times in the movie because he gets a second one sent down from what they call up the line. That's how they talk about the future.
But when they put it in there, that was the longest
10
10
seconds.
seconds I've ever
I think
seen in my life. I think it was like a minute and a
40
half.
seconds for sure.
It was,
And
the things that he did, could not take you. Usain Bolt could not do this in 10 seconds.
yeah, and it's pretty great. But what is even funnier about that scene is that it says later on, Helen Hunt's like, well, you used your time. You could have killed him. In the time it took for him to grab you and move you to the car, he could have saved you and killed him on the walk by.
Yeah.
And I do have to admit, there is some little things like that, but that is the charm of it is.
Right.
But I think this movie, if it could have had a better budget, a director that was looking at it as a different way than, I think this movie could have been a really, really good
Science
fiction
movie.
franchise. I really do.
But I digress. I mean, this is a hats off thing, and I guess we do have to do hats off for even films.
I think it's a movie, like I said,
Why do you think it's a movie?
because, like I said, for me, it's enjoyable. Some of the quotes and the one-liners alone make it good for me. Like there's the whole line where Jack Death likes to have his hair wet. He literally gets his hair wet when he first comes down. He's like, dry hairs for squibs. And I just thought it was funny. And just the way Thomerson's deliverance, because he was a stand-up comedian before this, his deliverance of lines is just so good and on time. And Helen Hunt is absolutely wonderful in it.
Okay.
It's a movie that, like, if you wanted to watch it right now, we could throw it in and I'll watch it.
I mean, is it self-aware of what it is?
I think it is.
Did it achieve what it wanted to do? I mean, I mean, that's what we kind of classify as a movie. Is it?
Yes.
It knows where it's at, and it achieved everything it wanted to do.
And that's what I believe, that this movie, being a full moon knows what they are.
Okay.
They know that they're B-Slock, but they're going to make a good B-Slock movie that is going to cult classic. That's what they make.
Okay.
Concede
today on this one.
All right.
It might be a movie, but
check
anyway,
in the win column.
check in the win column for you.
That's our hats off movie. That's Trancers, 1984. I give it a hats off.
Hats off.
These are total mess, Dropbox discovery.
Guys, that was Trancers, 1984 classic, I guess you could say.
Cult classic. We'll give you that.
There we
So guys, that was our movie. We just want to make sure, that you guys, if you're liking what you're seeing, like, subscribe, follow.
And also, if you have any suggestions of things that you would want us to review or check out, leave it in the comments below. We would love to see what you think.
And all the people that love the good slocky B movies,
And-
give me suggestions to, really torture Stu with, please.
And if you're a fan of VHS slop or VHS Dropbox, or VHS films in general, let us know what you like and make sure you watch us again.
What's in the Dropbox tonight? Forgotten gold in the